I swear I have to get my intro. I have to get an intro. I've had multiple intros over the years, and I just keep forgetting to load up a custom one. This one sounded like I'm in the background with a pan flute. If I'm just imagining, just like this is me getting ready for the stream. I don't know. Anyways, hi everyone. How are you doing today? Hello. She's looking for me. Hello, Dwayne. How are you doing? Good afternoon, Guts. Hello, Fire King. Hello, Bree. Hello, Brandon. Oh, really? Hello, Jade, not Jedi Dragon. Hello, I'm here. Just got back and thumbs up on the new video. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you didn't know, I did publish a new video today. I'm trying my best to record in bulk and edit, but for some reason, my editing is still not as quick as I'd like it to be. I don't know how all these I'm assuming a lot of YouTubers have like editors and stuff, and I don't. I'm poor. Listen, eggs are very expensive, okay? I don't got money for eggs. I don't got money for an editor, so I got to do it myself. So I'm trying to record in bulk, and I have a few things set up in bulk, so I can export and get that uploaded to you guys. So thank you all for your patience, okay? So until then, you're just gonna have to look at me and my live face, okay? Anyway, but it gets easier. Editing is so hard. See, also, I have an older computer. Someone sent me a really nice laptop for editing. I haven't actually tried using it for editing yet. I think I might do that for my next video to see if it's quicker than my desktop, because my desktop isn't. I'm just not used to maybe I have to hook up my mouse and my keyboard. Actually, it has a keyboard. I'm stupid. I need to hook up my mouse to it and maybe on a bigger monitor. But yeah, I'm gonna try that because this is actually like a pretty old computer. But I'm gonna try that next time and see if I don't know anything about PCs, by the way. Like I have no idea. If you ask me, hey, what's the technical aspects of it? What type of gigabyte zippity doo dah is it? I have no idea. I have no clue. I don't know what that's a foreign language to me. When people say, "Oh yeah, I built my PC," I'm like, "You're a genius," because I could never do that. I could never do that. Oh man, She Wolf. Hello, She Wolf. Actually, watching your review on Has Been, and you have done very well in it. Thank you so much, She Wolf. I really appreciate that. Granny's hair is looking fabulous. Oh, thank you. I'm growing some grays. You see this? Look at this. That's okay. I'm gonna rock it, I'm gonna rock it. Maybe I can enjoy the X-Men or the X people. I'm not sure what they're calling it these days. X-Men, X people, X women. All over the place. Cherish Beloved is over on Rumble. How are you doing today, darling? Uh do I see smoke in your studio? Yes, I am on fire right now. I'm just kidding. I have tea right here. Tea. The X them. I built my PC like 8 years ago. It's an old beast. Yeah, I don't know anything about that, man. You don't know how many zippity doo days your PC had? I have no idea. No clue. If you had cut large chunks, use Avid Mux. What is that? We'll look that up right now. What is that? Avid Mux. Never heard of this thing. So here's the other thing too. I'm trying to like I told you that guys before. I've been having a love-hate relationship with content creation for the last couple of years. And part of it is like I've never really been a video producer slash editor. And that's really what I mostly do now, right? So it's like I've had to scale back on a lot of the things I would want to do because a lot of the things I've wanted to do with my videos, I used to do with my live streams, like the special effects and stuff like that, like After Effects. I would just design things in After Effects and import that into my live streams. And I realized when I was trying to make videos on YouTube, I'm like, I have all these crazy ideas and then I never execute them because it literally would take forever. So I'm trying to just put out content bare bones. Bare bones. I got my webcam, I don't got my mirrorless camera, no special whatever, it's just bare bones stuff. Cuz I figure when I initially started making content, I really wasn't doing any crazy stuff, but I think my brain started creating these invisible rules. Like I need to have amazing things on my channel, otherwise people won't watch me, and that's not true. People won't watch me because they just don't like me. It has nothing to do about my editing, special effects, or anything like that, you know? People have their own reasons, so it is what it is. But yeah, that's what I've been doing, trying to streamline the editing process and make it as easy and simple as possible. As possible. Bare bones. Yes. Bree says, "Hello, Bree. Gothix, can you watch Avatar, The Last Airbender? The cartoon and new live action one just came out. The cartoon is 3 books long." So wait, there's a book? The Avatar, The Last Airbender. That's the bald kid, right? That's not the little blue mutants in the jungle, right? It's a different Avatar. Oh man, I think I've seen one of those movies, I think. I don't know. I don't really know much about Avatar, The Last Airbender, or the other Avatar for that matter. Yep, the ball kid. Yeah. The seasons are called books. This is news to me. Okay, I'm gonna have to check it out. I'm gonna see if I can do it. I'll check it out. My laptop is fairly new. I mainly use it for photo editing and playing games with the hubby. I love photo editing, but it's time consuming. Oh yeah, it's very that's the other thing too. Very I'm very self-taught with graphic design and like After Effects. I love Photoshop, but I would also take a long time. I think part of the problem is I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, and I would take a long time trying to make something as simple as a thumbnail. And I'm like, why am I torturing myself this way? So let me tell you what I've discovered recently. Okay. I feel like you want to talk about Granny Gothix? This is Granny Gothix in the flesh. Okay. I discovered the magic of Canva. Okay. I tried Canva years ago when it had just started, and I was like, this is trash. I'm gonna stick with Photoshop. I went back to Canva. Yo, you can literally do so much in there. You can make video end cards, you can design websites, you can uh you can make graphics and get them printed directly from Canva. I'm like, what kind of program is this? What is this witchcraft? And there's a part of me that's like, I taught myself graphic design. You mean to tell me all you have to do is click, 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 and boom, you're done? That's it? That's all you have to do? After all the blood, sweat, and tears I put myself through? You're just gonna do me like that? Huh? So I've been playing around with Canva. It's very interesting. Um, yeah, and I guess that's just that's kind of where we're headed if you think about it with like the AI. It's like you don't really need to teach yourself. I mean, I don't think you have to teach yourself a lot of stuff anymore. You don't know how to do graphic design, just use a program like that. It's kind of crazy. Have you seen the new Sora videos from OpenAI? Yes, I did. We're all doomed. Yes, we're all doomed. I did see the Sora videos from OpenAI, and I saw something about TikTok releasing. I didn't look too much into it. I just saw it in passing, but TikTok also released some type of AI plugin that you can basically animate photos. And I saw this whole thread of people showing examples, and I'm like, yo, you can. I mean, this was already a fear before. How easily you can incriminate people with AI videos. It's kind of scary, but the Sora, it's pretty believable. Pretty believable. I had a super chat here from Disco Cobra who says, thank you for the 20, by the way. I usually buy pre built PCs, a little bit more expensive, but if you buy from the right places, they are good. I have a monster PC. I probably paid more than I should have, but I'm happy with it. Lifetime warranty. It should last about 5 years. So I have a pre built. The first pre built I bought, I didn't really have any gaming PC friends, so I couldn't really consult with anyone. So my dumbass went on Best Buy and I literally typed in gaming PC, $800 gaming PC. I didn't understand anything about specs and I'm like, yeah, buy. I could not even play Overwatch on that PC. Okay. So now this PC that I'm streaming on is also a pre-built, but I did have a gaming PC person look at the specs and he said, this is good. This is gonna last you a couple of years. I'm like, okay, fine, cool. Cool, cool, cool. But now that's been like, I feel like it's been maybe 5 years, 6 years, maybe. Um, and it's kind of running a little slow, and I've reset it and everything, but I don't know. There's something going on with it. Um, let's see. Let me scroll up a little bit. We're not doomed if we rely on the Lord. This is nothing new. No, 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 my friend. I am a very dramatic person. I agree. We are not doomed, but we are. Everybody I'm just kidding. I understand what you're saying. Like, we're not doomed, but we are. We're doomed in the sense that this is scary. I mean, it's kind of scary. Like, I'm not bugging out about it. I'm really not. I'm just a very dramatic person. um, but I can see how easily that technology is going to be used just to wreak havoc. Absolutely. Drama. I'm full of drama. The good drama, though. Let me scroll up here. Do, 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 do. Canva brings back the high school project nights. Yup. Yup. Dark Phoenix 23. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I hope you're doing well today. Have you discovered a cure for perfectionism? I need it too. That's a really good question. Well, I don't necessarily know of a cure per se, but this is what I have come to understand about perfectionism. I think for the most part, depends on the circumstance, your worries about perfectionism might seem valid. Like for example, Graham, the director of the Gothix documentary, I have my own documentary if you guys didn't know it. You can watch now on lore.tv. Go check it out. Lore.tv. Use code Gothix. Go 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 go. Um, he took a couple of years to edit the documentary. Initially, he thought he was going to have the documentary finished in like 6 months. And then 3 years later, he was finally finished with the documentary. And he wanted to put out something good. And I think that's where my mind is I want to put out something good. But for me and the type of content that I'm currently doing, this isn't what I would like to do long term. Comment on nonsense in the world. This is not what I want to do long term. Um, I want to do more creative stuff. I don't know what. But in any case, for the type of stuff that I'm doing, it doesn't make sense for me to get everything perfect. Gotta have good lighting. I gotta have good camera. Gotta have good editing and good graphics and good. It actually doesn't make sense because there's a bunch of other channels on YouTube that are doing similar stuff to me anyway. And YouTube, it's like most people are watching videos on their phone, so they're not really gonna take in all of the high quality stuff you're gonna put out anyway, because they're usually just like scrolling, lying in bed scrolling on their phone, so they're not even gonna notice half the time. So I mean, it really depends on what you're. I think it's good to put your best foot forward, but I think also if it's not under control, it can control you. um, yeah. So I think it depends. You have the bisexual lighting. What? So what? What is that? The bisexual. I would like the heterosexual lighting. Okay, that's what I want. I don't want bisexual lighting. Nah, I'm not about that life. Graham says there is a line that has to be walked with how much time we spend on something, not too little, not too much. Right. And so that's why I've been trying to minimize the editing process so I don't, and I have myself on like a strict schedule. So it's like, this is the amount of time I can allot to this particular thing. And if I go over, there's a problem. All right. I just, because I think also it's like I have free range to just do whatever, and that can end up with me trying to do like 5 million different projects at once, and then nothing gets completed. So yes, it's a fine line, my friends. The bisexual lighting is freaking insane. Colors existed before the flag. The muted purple and a red lights literally these are bisexual lightings. I don't want it. Get, who you know what? I'm taking it back. Sorry. Sorry. Alphabet crew, I'm taking it back. The rainbow, you can't have it. Taking it back. It's God's rainbow. All right? And those right there, that's mine. That's mine. The documentary needed to take 3 years. Your YouTube videos need to take 3 days. See? See? Yes. Yes. So what I've been doing is I've been trying to record a video every day and then edit. The editing is still hard. I'm trying to get it I'm trying to speed it up, and I'm like, what else can I do to make this not as long? Yo, Mr. Woodsmoke just gave a super. Hi, Mr. Woodsmoke. Hi, Gothix. Years ago, when I was in the Navy, our ship went to Rhode Island, and there was a club called Halls of Balls in Providence back around 99. Did you ever hear about that? I've never heard of that club. Halls of Balls. No, I have not heard about that. Hmm. I hope you're doing well, Mr. Woodsmoke. Um, I was scrolling too much on my phone. It was making me depressed. I gave up scrolling for Lent. Going very well so far. Yeah. Yeah. So it's funny because I was talking to a friend about this. I had some pho. I think it's called pho. Very good. I personally like ramen more, but I had some pho with a friend the other day. And we were talking about how she was feeling so like just spiritually off every time she would go online. And so she had to set up some hard barriers for her not to subject herself to the world because it was like spiritually was hurting her. And I'm like, yo, I can kind of relate to that. But I think also this is probably an opportunity, a good opportunity for me to get closer with the Lord too, because I feel like I am in a very interesting predicament where I have to look online for things to talk about. And when I take that in, it hurts me. Like, and I don't understand how all of these commentators can just ramble on and on and on about all the crazy crap happening in the world. I can't do it. I feel dead inside. So I have to set strict boundaries on that too. It's like I am allowing myself up an hour, if that, to look something up. And then I have to get offline. And then I have to pray a lot. Otherwise it actually affects me. And then my friend was like, well, have you thought about hiring someone so they can look up this stuff for you? And I'm like, yeah, I've thought about that, and I don't want to subject someone to that. Like, I do, because the majority of people that I know at least spend so much time online. Like, I'll literally see 4 hours go by and people arguing with each other on Twitter. Like, that's just not healthy. It's not healthy. Even if I give you money, it's still not healthy. So yeah, I'm a work in progress. Oh really? Hi, oh really? Hey, Gothix. He gets us redone as the ad that should have been on the Super Bowl. 58 seconds. Oh, I saw the ad. It was good. I saw the ad after I had done recording it, but no, that was a really good one. Yeah, but we know that. I mean, they don't. People don't care. People don't care. Um, Going down the rabbit hole is traumatizing. Oh, it is. It is. I need to give up screen time for Lent. It's been bad lately. Yeah, it pulls you in. I don't like to self-diagnose myself, but I feel like my attention span is just shot. And I feel like whenever I am online and I'm online with a mission, I get so sidetracked, and I don't know if it's just the uh the result of how the algorithms are made and it's meant to pull you in, but I feel overall like my attention span is just like it's shot. do 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 do. Hello, Raquel, and how are you doing today? Midas touch, Gothix. Midas touch. I've been staying out of that social and political issues recently, and I've been reading the Bible more. Currently in Leviticus, hoping I can make it through Deuteronomy and not Deuteronomy. I was like, yo, or was it Leviticus? Which one was it? I think it was Leviticus. One of the two. I think it was Deuteronomy. And I was listening to it on audio, and I'm like, my eyes were like this the whole time. Now I know why most people who just have like an issue with Christianity, they'll just uh cherry pick passages from those books and just run with it. Oh yeah? Well, your Bible says this. It's like, bro, context is important. My attention span is 100% worse because of it. So yeah, I feel you there. Oh yeah, bad. Uh, let's see. Gothix, apparently a new video on Jubilee on black atheists and black Christians is going to be released soon. My head is hurting just listening to that title. My head hurts. I'll watch it. I'll watch it. It's going to be released soon. Okay. Um Let me guess. I don't know why you're a Christian because Christianity is the white man's religion and it's used to perpetuate harmful stereotypes and enable slavery. And why would you believe in a God that condones slavery? That's probably what it is. Ah, boy. But yeah, I'll watch it. I have the attention span of a 12-year-old girl. See, I can't even say that because I've met a lot of kids that are very mature and like they're just very attentive. Over on Rumble, Cherished Beloved is saying, the thing about AI is that a lot of artists in particular are going against it, so that's good at least. I'm actually making my room rainbow theme, but it's based on the Lord's rainbow. This one guy was trying to get on me about stoning a woman if she cheated or something, but I gave him an article to read. Should have given him the part where Jesus stops them from stoning. Yeah. I mean, they don't know. And you know what the thing is I can also like it's stupid. Like I can say that it is stupid for someone to pull passages from the Bible out of context to weaponize it, right? But at the same time, I understand because I used to do the same thing, the same exact thing. And I'm like, wow, I didn't know. So I get it. Let's see. I saw a black man recently claim that Islam was never practiced correctly until American black men picked it up. You know what that sounds like? That's not the real communism. We Americans know the real communism. Mhm. Hello, Mitchell, and how are you doing? If we're supposed to be following a white man's religion, I guess it's time to go back to Norse mythos. White man's religion. But what would you know what the thing is what would also classify as it's just so stupid. It's so stupid, guys. I can't even life gets so less complicated when you stop looking at everything through a racial lens. Like it literally just it's so less complicated, you know? I don't get it. Gothics, apparently it went well. Not every atheist were actually atheists, only a couple were. The rest were agnostic or rooted in forms of African spirituality. I mean, to be fair, that's usually what I tend to like. I don't think any. Is this a controversial take? Well, let me think about it for a second. Well, nah, maybe not. I was gonna say I don't think anyone's actually atheist. I think everyone is, for the most part, agnostic. I think people will say there is no God, but I think when they're saying that, I don't think they actually mean it. And also, I've met a lot of ex atheists, so it's not a terminal state of belief. You know, if you're an atheist, if you claim to be an atheist, I've met a lot of ex atheists. Yes. Um, so that's why it's sort of like, to say that you are an atheist anyway is to say you know for sure there is no God, but I've never spoken to an atheist that says, "I have proof that there's no God." It's impossible to do that. Which explains why there's ex-atheists. But yeah, I think most people are agnostic. But they'll say atheist. I'm not sure why. Um, yeah. Atheism seems to come with a lot of anger. I can understand that, yeah. I mean, if you think about it, the not even considering, like and I'm trying not to get into apologetics. We just started, guys. We just started. But, like, not even considering what that state of mind logically leads to, but I would assume someone who says there is no God, there's already some type of hurt there. No, I don't know. At least that would keep me up at night when I was younger. I would be like, "Yo, there has to be a God, otherwise this is all pointless. All of this is pointless. There's no reason. You mean we just die and we just what then what's the point?" I couldn't deal with it. All right, let me scroll up. Okay, let me scroll up a little bit. Hold on, hold on. Do, 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 do. Leviticus and Deuteronomy are both dense, not necessarily to live a righteous life now in New Covenant, but necessary for biblical historians. Ah, Gothix, Midas Touch says, Gothix, why do you still have a gothic aesthetic while Christian? Not asking in a judgmental way, but isn't the aesthetic a bit dark? That's a really great question, and I get asked that a lot. So my question to you is if you're saying that this is goth, let's just say for the sake of the argument, without Googling what a goth looks like, you're saying that this is goth, tattoos are goth, black shirt is goth. Dark wall is goth. Okay. Now, isn't the aesthetic a bit dark? Dark based on whose standard? Are we saying that a shaved head, a nose piercing, a tattoo, a black shirt, neon lights is dark based on God's standard? Or are we saying it's dark based on the standard of the world? Consider that. Hi, Sherry. How you doing? That's a great question. It's great. It's great. Super great. uh, let me see. Lulu says Christians can have a so-called dark aesthetic. Just look at Orthodox monks. They have rooms full of skulls. Here's something else to consider, right? Here's something else to consider. Because this is a really great question. It's great. Super great. You guys aren't gonna let me let that down, huh? Right? Before I got saved, I met a lot of n- how would I say it? I met a lot of Christians who didn't dress in darkness. Okay. So these are the Christians that didn't wear dark clothing. They didn't have tattoos. They didn't have a shaved head, but they were jerks. So the next question is, what do you think God cares more about? The way I decide to dress or what's in my heart? Now, there's a fine line here because there's a difference between dressing like this and dressing in a way that I can become a stumbling block to someone or I could be sinning myself, right? I think a lot of people take this concept to the extreme and will just, walk around half naked and be like, "Well, God only cares about what's in my heart." No. Totally different. But I would say that I think God cares more about what's in our heart than how we dress. And then the other thing to consider is, again, I met a lot of Christians before I was saved that didn't dress like this, that were not nice people. So I have an advantage now to reach people who also dress like this. Because a lot of people have this preconceived idea of what Christianity is. Because if we're saying that you dressing like this is dark, then that's implying that Christianity is supposed to dress like this. So people who don't know God and they think of Christians, they're thinking about Christianity in one particular way, which means that I I would assume that I have a better likelihood of speaking to people who already dress like this as opposed to someone who doesn't dress like this because they don't understand, right? They don't understand. They're just these square Christians. They don't understand. So I think I know that's I'm kind of rambling here, but I think that there is a lot of there's a big slippery slope and you open up these other problems when we consider if a Christian should be dressing in a particular way, and if it's God's standard, that's one thing. But I think I call it Christian Incorporated. Christian Incorporated likes to add extra rules that aren't found in the Bible. They just like adding extra rules because it's more comfortable for them, you know? That's why I saw the Jesus Revolution movie. Yo, I cried in the theater. I cried because there's a scene in there where these Christians all buttoned up, dressed up, were in church, and then these hippies walk in the church doors and they're barefoot, they got long hair, they're dressed like hippies. And these other Christians, they're like, we don't want them here. We don't want them here. But the hippies, they were like, we want to seek the Lord. And I'm like, yo, that is the truth. That still happens to this day. And I think it's gonna keep happening. So I know that was a very long answer, but I hope it answered your question. Rosario says atheism spiked after 9/11. Also, people became atheists after growing up in Bible based cults like Catholicism, the Jehovah Witnesses crowd, and having horrible experiences and bath, throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I think a lot of people are church hurt. When they say that they're atheists, I think a lot of them are church hurt. Uh, mm, 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 mm. Bright Fate says it's not dark compared to other goth aesthetics. I had a friend that wasn't allowed to wear black and red because her mom thought it was demonic. Putting colors together that God made are bad. And I think again, this is another thing that like I'm up for debate. I love having healthy debate. I think it's important. I just want to understand what the argument is. Like so when and the way that it was asked was very Midas touch. It was very respectful. Thank you, Midas touch. I've gotten comments from people, you shouldn't dress like that. It's demonic. And I'm okay. All right. Let's have a conversation. What about the way that I'm dressing is demonic? Can you show it to me in scripture? Can you can you help me understand where it is you're coming from? And there is no conversation. It's just you're demonic. And I'm like, but that isn't helpful. And I would suspect that that type of rhetoric is a stumbling block to other people because it was a stumbling block for me. Like, yeah. Joyride says judges wear black. We don't call them goth. Judges wear black. We don't call them. Oh God. Yo, judges. I like the judges that still wear that hair. I don't know what it's called. Like the little, like it's the white hair with the rollers. I don't get it, but I'm like, yo, got the whole uniform. Yeah, like Gothix is my name. I used to dress more goth in high school, not to the degree that I mean, if you look on Google, if you type in goth, you're gonna see some crazy. I mean, I did have a mohawk. Technically, I do still have a mohawk, right? It's not how it was a couple of years ago. Um, but like I never actually I lied. I tried wearing black lipstick once. Not a good look. It don't look good on me. No. Um, but yeah. Uh I'm 35 years old. I don't got time to dress like that. Okay. I got people to see, things to do. I'm comfortable just like this. Occasional fishnets, occasional, spiked collars. I think I'm good. Um, yeah, I'm comfortable. Mrs. Black Sheep, and hello, how are you? Ellie in Videoland says, "Good afternoon. You made me want to watch Hasbin Hotel. A lot of wasted potential with that one. Oh yeah, wasted potential. Absolutely. But like I said, I think it's a good opportunity for people to get more engaged in the art realm. You know, um, yeah, Super Saiyan hair. Uh huh. Mm 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 mm. Do, 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 do. My high school colors were red and black. What do you think about avoiding the appearance of evil? Depends what we mean. How are we defining evil? What is the standard? How are we defining evil in respect to aesthetic style? Are we saying certain colors are evil? Are we saying pointy collars are evil? Are we saying fishnet is evil? Are we saying boots with buckles are evil? Like, okay, and if that's what it is, then how do we justify that? Is it evil because God says so? Is this evil? I love this. This is one of my favorite collars. Is this evil? Okay. Did God say it's evil? Or did other people who perceive it to be evil call it evil? Hmm. Those pilgrims were evil because of their buckles. Oh, man. Let's see, Morgan. Hello, Morgan. Hi, Gothix. I'm such a huge fan of yours. You're one of the few commentators that got me out of my liberal leaning phase. Keep up the good work. Morgan from very liberal, woke Seattle. Woo! I need an air horn soundboard and I don't have one. So I'm just going to do it with my mouth. That is awesome, Morgan. Thank you for sharing. I'm glad I have an impact on some people, you know? Sometimes I wonder, and then every now and then I get a nice message like this. It was funny because when I started making videos on YouTube, it was like every day I was getting comments from other black folks. Just, they were so mean. They were so nasty. And then I kind of stopped getting them and I'm like, what happened? So, I'm like, I almost kind of miss it. Like, what's going on? Oh, but that's so sweet of you. Thank you. That's awesome. Um, the more buckles, the more evil. It's science. Oh man. Deconstruct says as long as you ain't worshiping and pushing the occult or witch stuff, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I agree. Um, Someone mentioned something about sexualization. Is sexualization evil? I have a funny story to tell you. Okay. So I have a spin bike and I've been doing some spin bike exercises, right? And I I'm using a free trial on Peloton. All right, don't crack on me, all right? I'm really into the spin bike stuff. So I'm using Peloton, right? And if you don't know what it is, it's like you pick a workout and there's an instructor and the instructor they will give you instructions on where to put your resistance, how fast you should pedal, and it's all to the beat of music. Okay. So there's different types of music genres you can listen to. I love lots of music. One of my favorites is like dance, disco. I love that type of stuff. Okay. And one of my favorite artists is Donna Summers. Now, when I became a Christian, I listened to Donna Summers. I'm like, yo, this woman literally made music about prostitutes and I never noticed. Or maybe I just didn't care. It doesn't negate that the music still sounds good, has a good beat, she has a beautiful voice, but she's still singing about prostitutes. Okay. Now, where am I going with this story? Because someone asked, is sexualization okay? I don't think prostitution should be glorified at all. And a lot of the music that is out right now is very sexualized. So I'm doing this workout. I'm doing a Donna Summer playlist. And I think there's a difference here. Again, because I watched Has Been Hotel and a lot of Christians say, no, you shouldn't be watching that. I'm going to cite Romans 14. If you think it's going to hurt you spiritually, don't listen to it. Don't watch it. You know, that's your prerogative. I can respect that. So I said, all right, let me do this exercise to this playlist. And everything's going good. And then out of nowhere, the instructor starts glorifying the lyrics of the song. And I kid you not, this is a gay man, a gay instructor, okay? And this is what he said. If there's any kids in the chat, plug your ears, all right? Tell little Timmy to go in the kitchen. I'm pedaling to a song and the instructor says, "Get ready to shake your titties." And then he says, I'm not even kidding. And then he says, you know, there was never an anthem for prostitutes, but I am so happy we have Donna Summer because she served it. So shout out to all the sex workers out there. I'm just trying to work out. I'm just trying to exercise. Like, I know what she's singing about isn't good and we shouldn't glorify it. I understand that. Doesn't negate she has a beautiful voice, but why are you saying this, Mr. Gay Man? It was so bizarre. So yeah, no, I think it's bad. I think sexualization is bad and it leads to a lot of problems. This is why lust is a sin in the Bible, right? And it's it leads to a lot of problems. Yeah. So that was my experience working out yesterday. Just thought you guys should know. If you ever were interested in doing Peloton, that's what you're in for, okay? How is that allowed in a workout program? I have no idea. But you know what's crazy? Here's the other things, because now I'm on a rant about Peloton, all right? I'm on a rant. So when you're doing the Peloton app, you have the instructor, and then you have an audience of people also on their bikes because they do it in the studio. And whenever there is an instructor who says the most degenerate things, the audience, they'll start shouting, "Woo! Yeah, shake your titties! Woo!" They love it. They love it. But when there's an instructor that's normal and is just like, "All right, yeah, pump up the resistance. Yeah, you're having a great day. You can do it." When they do that, no applause, nothing. Silence. No one says anything. So I would wanna say, I think what's most concerning is the fact that that type of rhetoric is so, uh, it's normal to people. Like, it's just normal. This is what we do. We just glamorize the dumbest stuff. It's nuts. Yeah, so I would like to see an alternative to something like Peloton or all these other spin bike programs where you work out and you're not celebrating the nonsense. That would be great. The world will applaud degeneracy and downfall. Oh, yeah. Could you complain to the manager? I don't think they would care because, like, I'm on a free trial anyway, so I'm not paying for it. But I'm just like, yo, for real? What about the itty bitty titty committee? See, maybe I should write a letter like that. Like, I don't feel included here. Okay. And send them a letter and see if they give me a promo code or something. I don't know. That's just bizarre. That's bizarre. Gothix, I see it like this. You can reach different people than I can't. Just by the way you dress, you can relate to the goth scene better than others. They need Jesus just like everyone else. Amen. I believe it. Amen. Absolutely. Yes. Yo, is that Brett in the chat? I just saw Brett while I was going on my Peloton rant. Where's Brett? I just saw him. He was up in here. Brett! I wear black almost every day and I was never goth. Anyway, happy Tuesday, Gothics. Happy Tuesday to you, Brett. I hope you are well. Ba, 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 da, 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 da. Wednesday from Adam's Family Evil. Is she goth? Well, first of all, I love the Adams Family. I never actually watched the new Wednesday. I don't really know anything about it. My husband had started watching it and then he stopped because they started talking about feminism and all this other woke crap. So I immediately lost interest. I like the old, like the black and white Adams Family, actually. Yeah. Is she evil? I don't know if she's evil. I mean, but here's the thing too, is you got to be able to separate art from the real world. Now, granted, because I had this conversation with Graham not too long ago, is that some people will use art to justify sin, right? And I think again, it's a fine line here. Like, are you creating a story and you are or are you trying to use the story for justification for you to sin? I think there's a difference here. Um, so like if I watch a movie about witches, I'm not glorifying witches. And I would hope that when people watch this, they see, okay, this is a story and this is not a celebration of witches. It just gets very difficult when I have a Peloton instructor telling me that prostitution is okay. I'm sorry, I'm still triggered by that. um all right, what else we got in the chat? Adam's Family isn't evil, they're just weirdos. They're a little bit weird. They're weird. Yeah. Um, I see a compilation of anime speeches when I work out. That would give me a ton of motivation. Anime speeches when you work out. Yo, I'd be cracking up. I don't think I could. I don't think I could. Ever watch Billy Banks and Chuck Norris workouts? No, actually. I've never. I saw Chuck Norris is still putting out exercise gear though. So that's a thing. I get the same treatment from other Christians when I say I'm a believer, but I watch horror movies and I wear a lot of black, especially my favorite supernatural horror. Yo, I'm actually warming up to supernatural horror. I wasn't really a thing and now I'm like, actually that's if you think about it, that's like what's the other word for it? Cosmic horror. If you think about it, like that's actually really scary. It's a scary concept because cosmic horror, you don't even necessarily have to see anything. It's like a psychological, it just messes with you psychologically. I kind of like that. It's really interesting. Um, but yeah, no, I get the same thing. Uh and I want to be clear too, like, because I've gotten some criticism from people saying, why are you talking about all the things that divide us? And I'm not trying to add more division within the body of Christ, but I think we can't ignore these topics either because we have to consider how many people are spiritually hungry and they're confused because you got all of these different people who all think that their way is the correct way. And then if someone who's seeking doesn't know that, okay, I'm supposed to follow Christ and not emulate what other Christians do, it adds so much unnecessary confusion, I think. And I think as long as we can agree on like, the fact that Jesus is who he says he is and he died on the cross and rose for our sins, if we can agree on that, okay, fine. You don't like horror movies? I like horror movies. Big whoop. I don't see what the big deal is. My best friend had the Adams Family song playing when they arrived at their wedding reception. Their last name is at. That is adorable. That is so cute. I love that. Watch Nefarious. I watched Nefarious. I liked it. I liked Nefarious, but I will say I've never been a fan of movies where the dialogue primarily takes place in one room. Like I need more movement, I need more scenes, and really it was just the jail the whole time. Still good script, good dialogue, but I think it was good for the budget that they had. Um, but me personally, I'm not crazy about that type of setup. I don't like horror movies, not because they're evil, but because I'm a scaredy cat. See, no, I don't watch horror movies to get scared because I actually can't get scared by horror movies. There are other things that can scare me, but horror movies are not one of them. One of the reasons I really like horror movies is number 1, story, uh 2, creativity, and 3, special effects slash prop slash costumes. Because I think you don't necessarily need to show a lot of stuff to make a good story. Like if your story is really good, I think you can you can get away with being limited to the type of, costumes or whatever. Um but if your story sucks and your costumes suck, it's just not good. It's not good. So, yeah, I like it for more of the artistic thing. That's why I really like Korean horror movies cuz the particularly zombies. Usually the Koreans do a lot of zombie horror movies. Um, but how do you say it? The contortionists they use for zombie movies in Korean film, unlike anything I've seen in America. So good, so believable. It's like, yo, I actually believe you. So good. I doubt horror flicks will keep you out of heaven, but you do have to watch what you fill your spirit with. That can even include doom scroll. I mean, we were just talking about it. Absolutely. 100%. That's why I say, like, if you know that it's causing you to sin or it's hurting you spiritually, then put up that barrier, put up that boundary. Don't consume it. Which is why I still struggle with the social media thing. It's not even necessarily doom scrolling. It's if I go on any social media platform, the first thing I see is someone in real life getting killed, like a video of someone getting shot. It's I don't want to see that. It hurts my soul because it's like, because I mean, sin is the reality of the world, and I understand that sin is never going to go away. It's just a fact of life. But what hurts me about it, it's like this didn't have to happen. It didn't have to. You know, it's I don't it's not interested in that, but and that's why I can't relate to a lot of the commentators that will sit there and make content being outraged about all of these things happening in the world, and I'm like, "But we know it's happening, like, we know. So how about solutions? What solutions can we offer as opposed to, "Did you see this thing that happened in New York City today?" "Yes, I did. I heard about it." "Are you surprised?" "I'm not surprised." Yeah, exactly. Soul crushing. Yeah. Blade is awesome. Yo, Blade is so good, and I'm so happy they canceled the remake. I think they did, right? As last I checked, they canceled it. I hope they keep it canceled. Blade does not need a remake. I'm sorry. The comedic scenes in those K horror series are amazing too. Yo, my husband started getting into like Korean soap operas. I haven't watched any, but every time I pop my head in and I'm like, "What are you watching?" It's like some weird romance. I don't know. Like I don't get it. He's funny. Yo, M just says Blade is a supernatural hero who slays demons and vampires. Yo, Blade was lit. Anna Mavok says only horror media I like is sci-fi, psychological, and classic literature. Some media can be evil if it has purposely subversive message, whether overt or subliminal. Discernment is important. Absolutely, absolutely. I think the thing is, I actually I think as far as subliminal messaging, I think that's worse than overt. Um, because if you're not a believer, right? If you don't believe in God and you watch something with subliminal messaging, let's just say it's progressive, woke Marxist propaganda, but it's subliminal. Like you can't actually tell it's there, but underneath the surface, that's what they're kind of alluding to. I think it's worse, in that case, whereas if you believe in Jesus and you're staying in the word and you open your Bible, it's a lot harder, I think, for you to be, led astray, at least in my perspective. That's why I'm confused how anyone could call themselves a Christian and be swept up in the Marxist ideology, because to me that's like you haven't opened your Bible like at all. So I can understand how it'd be very very damaging to a non-believer, but for a believer, just open up your Bible. you know? I don't know. Korean soap opera. Kim Jong Un is an AI. I think Blade is still happening, but it went through so many revisions. Marvel is still trying to include his daughter, so that can be a hit or miss. Oh boy. Mm-mm. I don't know how I feel about that. Van Helsing, the movie, was another guilty pleasure of mine. I think I watched it once. I actually don't really remember it, but I know I saw it. My favorite horror film is The Exorcist. you can bet your bottom dollar, have an inner conflict about that. However, at the end, the demon is defeated and the girl is saved. Yeah, I mean, I've actually never seen the original Exorcist. Um, but from my perspective, it's like, well, we can agree that demons are real, okay, and we can agree that Jesus is stronger than any of these demons, okay, that is also true. Um, so I don't see the problem. But I mean, that's just me. It's good storytelling, but I mean, it's can't say it's necessarily fictional. I'm just saying. Underrated movie First Jaws. Never seen it. The closest thing I saw was Deep Blue Sea. I used to love that movie, and then I watched it again. I'm like, actually, the CGI was terrible. Mm. The original Exorcist is based on a true story. It wasn't a girl; it was a boy. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Honest question: does it tempt you to sin? Oh, the movie. Oh, legend has it the original Exorcist movie was cursed. Ba, 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 ba. Over on Rumble, Deconstruct says Spawn and Blade are my old faves. Mm. Uh, Jack Smarty says I don't tell many of my friends that I'm Christian. Hmm. Why? Are you afraid of what they'll say? Cherished Beloved says technically the character Wednesday herself would be classified as wicked if she was in real life. Hmm. Dalvania says, "Get out of New York if you can, and I mean the state. It's gonna nosedive economically and rights wise." I mean, I believe it. I just learned. See, I'm so like I don't know why I'm surprised by this, but I didn't know that Rhode Island was a sanctuary state. And I'm like, yo, why are so many Latinos getting arrested for child abuse all of a sudden? That's weird. What's going on here? I don't really understand it. Oh, oh, I see. Mm, yeah. And then also there was a story, I don't know if Libs of TikTok covered it. They should. But at my old high school, there was a teacher who just got teacher of the year and was caught having inappropriate text messages with a female student. I was like, what is going on? It's wild. Wild. I just like the state of mind to even think that that is okay, you know? She was sending her voice memos and stuff. I'm like, "Yo, this is wild." Impact player says being anti-demon is one thing. The question is, are those films pro Jesus? Um, I mean, I guess the question is what films are pro Jesus? Not many of them are, you know? Not explicitly. I don't think a lot of them are, but we could make the argument that everything that's good is from the Lord. So if there's good qualities in a story, we can make that argument. But I don't think there's a lot of movies explicitly that are pro Jesus. Uh Gothix Andy knows YouTube community page has those types of articles posted. Interesting. Gothix, have you seen that low fruit made made 2 videos about you? Who the heck is low fruit? Is that a person? I'm not, you know what? That's a person, I'm not gonna engage because that's low fruit. Woo! that was probably really loud. I'm really sorry if your eardrums have just popped. I didn't realize it was that high on my mixer. Sorry about that. Oh man. Um Abel, how are you doing, my darling? How are you doing? What are your thoughts on Monty Python movies? They're honestly a guilty pleasure for me. They're funny but very atheist. I only remember one, well, kind of remember one movie, and I'm not even sure which one it was. Probably the most famous one where they're galloping on their invisible horses to a castle. I forget which one. um, I mean, this is the way that I see it. And Graham is having some great discussion in the chat about this. Thank you, Graham. I feel like Graham is like my sidekick. Graham is just like, all right. He's like, I'm on it. Because I can't answer every question either, but this is the way that I see it. If we were to say that, okay, we can't watch movies that are atheist, or we can't watch movies that don't glorify God, then what we're essentially saying is we really can probably only watch like less than 1% of the movies that are out there. So to me, it opens up the question, is it tempting you to sin? And is it hurting you yourself spiritually? If the answer is yes, I wouldn't watch those movies. Um, and so to the point of, if we can only watch stuff that um, explicitly glorifies God, that's like less than 1% of cinema. Okay, so here's a great opportunity for people to really engage in art and come up with something that Christians can watch. And what I mentioned in my Has Been Hotel review is that a lot of artists of the Christian faith, I think, are still trying to figure out what art actually is. Because to them, the message is more important than the art, instead of the art taking precedence over the message. Because you can still convey the message, the good news, while still having good art, but they usually swap it. And so what you get is sort of like and there's been lots of videos about this where Christian movies are sort of classified as this cookie cutter copy and paste template, and they all kind of feel the same. And there's no variety. And when I see something like that, I get this impression that the artists are trying so hard to not um go off of scripture. It's like this we can only do what's in here, and we can't experiment. We can't tell a story, you know? And again, I think you are sacrificing the art when you take it that route. I think people should pray about it. I think people should really consider how they're trying to convey their message, instead of saying message, 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 because then it turns into exactly what the political left does. You know, I can't watch I don't watch a lot of movies these days, I'll be honest with you. It's not because the movies are demonic. It's because I'm beat over the head with a political message. and and I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it. Like, if you got a good story and it flows and it makes sense and your message fits into the story, okay. Okay. I still see it's propaganda, but okay, I'm just gonna put myself in the story for a minute. But sometimes I can't get past it. I can't get past it. Modern day Christians need to look at C.S. Lewis and Tolkien. Both were Christians who told Christian stories in an artful, mindful, epic fashion. Yeah. I'm still very behind on I've never watched The Lord of the Rings. I've never read The Lord of the Rings. I'm behind. I'm bad. I'm very bad. I know. Never read the Narnia. Someone sent it to me though. I have it. I got to actually sit down and read it. The book is it's overwhelming to look at. I said, "Yo, this thing is like this big." Um, yo, I had a super chat from McGrady, a microphone. Thank you for the microphone sticker. Do, 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 do. Goth, would you go on the whatever podcast and Fresh and Fit podcast in the future? I've seen some conservative people and some Christian people go on whatever podcast these days. I just don't know. I think the thing is, I how do I say this? I think um my temperament, my demeanor has improved over the years in terms of being in close proximity to ignorant dialogue. I think it's gotten a lot better, but I actually don't know how better it's gotten. Like, if I were to be on the whatever podcast or Fresh and Fit, I still don't know how I would interact in those situations. Like, I know that I've gotten better where I'm not like crying or freaking out or cussing someone underneath my breath because of something that they said. But in person, I haven't had an opportunity. So I actually don't know. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Yeah, because my brain would, if I was in those situations, I feel like my brain would be like, just leave, just get up and go. But then that would defeat the purpose. I fly all the way out there. They'll clip the video. They'll say, "Look at this person can't handle conversation." But I feel like that's what I'd want to do. Like, I just can't. I don't know. Someday though. Yeah, I mean, my perspective, someone's got to engage. I don't know if that's me, but I think it's good that they're having conservatives and Christians on these shows. I think it's really good. I just don't know if I'm there yet. Ah. Mm, 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 mm. I'm scrolling up. Bear with me. Bear with me. Graham has said, pursue God and your faith is weak. Pursue God when your faith is weak, and he will honor your pursuit and give you more reason to have faith in him. Obey his commands, even if you don't see how it will work. That is faith. He is faithful. Bars. Truth. Yeah, movies are awful these days. I can't remember two movies that even came out last year. That's how bad they have been. Yeah, they're just terrible. Chaco says, as far as I'm concerned, the hard times Nye finally start breeding great art. The hard times finally start breeding great art. Then my hypothesis can be tested. Hard times bring great art because people cannot express themselves otherwise. Ooh. I think your hypothesis, my darling, even though I butchered your message, I believe that your hypothesis is correct. And this is why. When time so you know that phrase, uh good times create weak men and weak men create hard times and etc., etc. Hard times create great art. I think that's true because if you have all good times, I think in the same way that you can live a very privileged, comfortable life in America. I say America specifically because there are a lot of people out here crying about oppression and white supremacy and microaggressions and transphobia and homophobia and all the phobias. They're complaining about all these things when they have one of the most privileged life experiences you can possibly get in the world. And they have that right now. And so they're still creating this scenario, this narrative of I am oppressed, help me. And in the same way, in when we're talking about art, people will do the same thing. I'm going to create this art that brings awareness to this oppression that my people in America have been facing for 4,000 years. Or was it 400 years? I quick maths, I can't remember. Um so it's like they're feeding into this false narrative to essentially um show people that they are, I don't know, strong overcomers of something. It's like this is their dragon to slay. And so the art ends up becoming saturated with just nonsense. But I think when hard times come and social justice says you can't talk about these things, you can't make jokes at the expense of these people, you can't say this thing, truth, no truth anymore because it's harmful, it's hurtful rhetoric. And when you get that uh the reality of censorship, it's like people, I think, will be more bold in their art because they want to express themselves. And I think a lot, and I forgot who said this. Someone told me that um Japanese movies, they are really good because of like censorship. Like historically, there's been, I don't know how much truth there is to this, but it makes sense to me. If you are persecuted in regards to what you are allowed to say, then you have to find other ways to communicate with you what you actually want to say. And that means you have to get creative with saying said things. Um, so I think there's some truth to that. Nathan, hi Nathan. So proud of the great Christian work you do, Gothix. Oh, thank you, Nathan. I hope you're having a great day. Um, my people have suffered somewhere between 300 and 4,000, give or take. Give or take. Somewhere I can't remember the script anymore. Anytime I hear a black person say, "We've been struggling for 400 years," I'm like, "Ugh." It hurts. It literally, my brain hurts whenever I hear that. You have not suffered for 400 years, my darling, because you haven't been on this earth for 400 years. You are lying. Please stop speaking. Ah. Okay, same, lost count. I lost count. Hollywood, hi, Mitch. Hollywood is causing its own demise, and I won't shed a tear, won't shed a single tear. Not at all. That's gonna open more opportunities, yes. After the 90s, movies started going downhill. Yeah. I had this thought. Um, and this is more so as it relates to music, but I think you can apply this to movies as well. How I would say, oh man, I really hate listening to current music because it's so degenerate. They're glamorizing all of this nasty stuff. Like I love 80s music. I love 80s rock. I love, 70s disco. I love older music. And then you listen to the older music and you can sense some hints of where that perversion was brewing. It wasn't as out there as it is now, but you can definitely sense it. So, like, if you listen to disco, for example, a lot of the earlier disco, they were talking about dancing, just dance, get on the dance floor, shake your booty, right? It's having a good time. We're going to have a great time tonight, okay? And then the more you get closer to the 90s, you start to hear something about, I'm trying to bring someone home tonight. You start to hear that. It's like, all right, it's not as out there as the music that we have now. But all that to say, I think, and the same can be said about rock too. I heard a song the other day. I forgot what, I skipped it because I actually couldn't stomach the song, and I love rock music, but this song, the lyrics were something like, "She's only 17 and she says she wants to give you the time of your life." And I'm like, "Whoa, wait, what?" So all that to say, I think um what we think is normal may not even actually be normal. Like it's normal to us because it's something that we're used to, and then it gets one upped, which is why I say, like, I can't truthfully claim that, "Oh, I was never indoctrinated when I went to high school." I think I was. Like, in retrospect, I think I was, and a lot of the stuff that, God has had to shed off of me, I picked up in high school. So, I might not have noticed it because everyone in my circle was doing the same thing and believing the same thing, but when you're out of that environment and then you see how they've one-upped it and what they're teaching kids now it's like, what are they doing to kids? But they were doing similar things to you, maybe just not as out there. So yeah, with the music and the movies, it's sort of the same thing. It's you can trace it back to see where it started to really kick off. Um, so then it poses the question because we're talking about art. Like, okay, so how can what should have happened? It's a good question. What should have happened to prevent that from escalating? To prevent the art becoming the monster that it is. Like, you know? And the thing is, it's like I want people to be able to express themselves, but but with great power comes great responsibility. And my goodness, what a mess we have created. Let's see. Do. Yeah, old music can be weird too. Yeah. Stubbing my toe on the coffee table just reminded me of my 3099 ninth years of oppression. Who listens to disco? Me, ma'am. How dare you? Can you send me things? You can send me things. Just make sure it's not scary things. Removing God completely out of the equation is why things have gotten to the extreme as they are now. Hey, I didn't say it. All of the atheists, don't get mad at me. I didn't say it. Joyride said it. I agree with you. Joyride said it. Gothix, it's okay. We can fix your disco. Let's see. We are all indoctrinated. It is good for the most part. It is good for the most part. Normal for humans is a brutal and horrible thing considering all humans' history. I don't know if necessarily we are all indoctrinated. No, I don't think that at all. Hmm. I think there's some things that we mimic out of repetition. We see our parents do something and we take on those patterns. Yeah, I think we can do that. But I don't think we're all indoctrinated. No. I have a very liberal, anti-Trump, race baiting, CNN watching family members. How do I tell them I lean conservative? I get guilt tripped by them when I say my non-liberal opinions. Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. This is what I would do, and this is what I have been doing. Um, and again, I think I have definitely improved over the years with this because the first time when I had my political awakening and I went to my aunt's house, I cried because I saw that she had some type of white privilege book on her table. And I'm like, "Ah!" Like it was literally just mortifying. But now I don't cry. I don't cry. And I used to get like cry when my family would bring up politics because they were feeding into the whole Black Lives Matter, racial stuff. And I'm just like, "You guys don't see it." Especially with COVID, man, a lot of my family members, mask wearers, don't touch me if you're not vaccinated. So thankfully I don't react like that anymore. Thank you, Lord. um, but now what I try to do is set a good example to show them that having a conversation doesn't mean we can't hear each other out, you know? So that means that if you wanna tell me that you think all Trump supporters are uh, Nazis and white supremacists, okay, tell me that, and I won't scream at you. I won't cry, but I'm going to ask you why. How did you come to that conclusion? With a very calm demeanor. How did you come to that conclusion? Could you explain it to me? I'm going to open up the conversation and show them that I am mature enough to engage in the conversation without bugging. And even if they just want to yell, because I also had a cousin that she went on a rant during Thanksgiving about white supremacy. I'm like, what is going on right now? So I changed the subject. I'm like, I can't do this right now. Um, but try to set a good example. And I think after a while of doing that, they'll get the hint. 'Cause, like, my mom, as an example, she has tried so hard to avoid politics because of how I used to act and how I would cry at the dinner table because people are talking about nonsense, right? And now I don't cry anymore, but she still is like, "Nope, don't wanna talk about it, don't wanna talk about it." But now I'm like, "Okay, no, it's fine, like, we can talk about it," you know? So it's gonna take some time, I think. So all that to say, I think you should just be more concerned about how you present yourself. Stay calm, stay collected, show them, uh, you know, that you come in peace. 'Cause I think it's so easy to escalate tensions unnecessarily with political topics. Yeah. Here's another thing too. I had a family member complain one time. They were like, Everything is so expensive. All the ingredients I need, it's just so expensive." And I'm like, "Why do you think the ingredients are so expensive right now? Like, why? Honestly, why?" "Oh, the economy's bad." "Why is the economy bad? Are there any policies that have led to the economy being this way? Are there any people that you have potentially voted for that maybe have led to these policies?" Like, think about that. Try to walk them back to consider their logic. How do you discuss religion with an atheist? I don't. I cry and hide under a table. I'm just kidding. That's a joke. Um, Honestly, it's not a one size fits all solution. Um, if it's in person, obviously it's different if I'm streaming because you come into my channel and I want to talk about what I want to talk about. And if you don't want to hear it, you can click off, boo, okay? But for the most part, if I'm with someone in person, I don't try to force the conversation like, "Hey, how you doing? Have you heard about our Lord and Savior?" No, that's not what I do. But if there's an opening, I try to listen to them. First of all, listen to them and uh try to try to see if they're interested in talking about spirituality. So when I hear one of my friends say that they're depressed, which there are many friends who are depressed, I understand. I used to be always depressed. So that to me is a unfortunate but good opportunity to lean into that, right? It's like, okay, so you're depressed. Have you considered? And if they seem interested in talking about it, then I'll keep talking about it. But if I can tell that they're sort of like, then I'm not going to bother. I say, no, we can change the subject. Okay, something else. Talk about something else. I don't have to force it. Yeah. Um, just treat them like a friend. You know. And this is assuming you actually know the person. Now, if it's just a random atheist on Twitter you're trying to have a debate with, I don't think that that is the best time spent. um, yeah, I don't think so because while you're writing a response, they're already writing their response. So they ain't gonna read what you have to say, you know? So I think those conversations are better in person anyway, or over the phone at least. Which honestly, I would say that for the majority of difficult conversations. Politics is one of them. I think face to face is always better. Um, because there's something about the body language you give off to someone that they feel more comfortable talking to you and see that, hey, you're not trying to, just intentionally cause an argument. You just want to talk, you know? Um, Agreed that relationship building is the key to witnessing. Come alongside people. Yeah. I'll just tell them that I'll pray for them, but it seems to make them mad. Yeah, so that's something that I have learned. This is just for me. If if you guys want to do this, this is your that comes off as condescending, I've noticed. I don't know why, but I think it's also because if you say, I'll pray for you. It comes off like people I think will think that you pray for me. I don't need your prayer. So instead, I ask people again, if the opportunity presents itself and it seems natural in the conversation, like I'm not forcing it. If we happen to get on spirituality and they happen to be interested and we end the conversation, hey, would you mind if I pray for you? And I find that at least for the people that I've asked that, they say, yes, I know, go right ahead. I would love a prayer. Um, Sometimes they'll say no. Like, "I don't want your prayers, your stinking prayers." And that's fine. It's like, "Okay, I thought I wanted to ask." You should still pray for them, I think. Um, but if they say no, they say no. But I find that it's comforting, um, to know that someone cares enough about you to pray for you. But I think if you ask, it presents that opportunity a lot better than just saying, "Imma pray for you." Not saying that that's how you say it, but that's how it comes off to a lot of people. What? Arguing with people online is a waste of time? I mean, for me, it usually is. I've never really I think there was one time, and it was a Christian. This Christian was going off about something. He was being kinda mean to someone, and I'm like, "Why are you acting like that?" And then he was, like, Bible thumping, and so I gave him a passage, and then he came back and he was like, "I apologize. I yield to scripture. You're totally right." I said, "I've never had that happen." Otherwise, it's usually people just don't they're just not interested. It's like, "Y'all bigot," or they'll just block me and you never even get an opportunity. So, yeah, I mean, some people get lucky. I do not find that it's the best way to communicate something. Pick up the phone? I have Jesus advice to share? Not right now. Leon, I can't. See? You see this vein right here? Look closely. You see this? Oh, that's my white hair. Don't look at that. You see that vein? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. um, how you doing, Leon? Take the labels out of the conversation and conversate with logic and reasoning. The minute labels are introduced, that we think define us, the defenses go up. Yeah, absolutely. That's why I don't like labels, and I want people to explain what they mean because we're living in a time where words don't mean anything, and you have to clarify. Like, could you explain what do you mean by that and how you came to that conclusion? Because how are we going to talk if we have different interpretations for what it is that we're actually trying to discuss? You see that vein? See nothing. I see that white. The excuse you. Excuse you, what? Entertain me. Over on Rumble. Cherished Beloved says, my art teachers go on about if you're restricted, then you can really get interesting results. You're restricted, then you can really get interesting results with your final product. Interesting. I think people could still be creative in the good times, but perhaps it just doesn't bring out the raw emotion. Yeah, I think I mean, I agree with that. Hi, babe. Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah. Give me a smooch. Thank you. He made me some fried not fried, grilled plantains. Oh, yeah. Mm, that's bomb. Thank you. Rosario says, since you haven't seen all the colossal landmark films, would you consider doing a film reaction channel? A lot of gamers and Twitchers have gone that route. A film reaction channel, like just I mean, I've definitely thought about it. Just watching shows and stuff. Cuz I kind of want to get more into pop culture. I don't know. I have a few channels, extra channels that I made that I'm not really using. I don't know, cause I feel like I like gaming, that's how I started streaming, but I like gaming offline now. I just I want some things to be reserved for just my downtime, you know? If I try to monetize everything, I think eventually it just, you know, burns me out. I'll consider that. Hmm. Hmm. That's good. That's so good. I think this is a private gamer now. Um, I had a I had a chat from Doc Limitless. Happy Tuesday. It's always great to catch you. Loving face. Yo, hello, Doc. How are you doing, my friend? Saul's shoulder is doing good, actually. He's going back to the gym, strengthening that arm. He's out of physical therapy. He is good. He is good. Why am I the only one looking forward to getting gray and white hair? I'm only in my 30. Actually, like honestly, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. It's just a reminder of how temporary this world is when I see my gray hair. But I actually don't mind it. I can, like I said, I can look like an X them because you know X Men has to be inclusive, so X them. Hmm. You don't mind it because you'll finally look like Storm. Yeah, I'll finally look like Storm without burning my actual hair off of my head. True story. Actually happened. Not a fun time. Mm. Yeah, I did. I did see some clips. I think he carries himself so well. Um, Fun fact: I was in the same room with Michael Knowles once, and I was so nervous to say anything. He was just across the table getting pizza. We were at like the Daily Wire studio, and he was getting pizza, and I'm like, "That's Michael Knowles." And I was just so nervous. I didn't say anything. I'm like, "Next time." I messed up my knee pretty bad. Glad his shoulder is better. Mm. Oh man, I hope your knee gets good, gets better soon. Yes. Mm, 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 mm. Mentor says no powder sugar for your plantains, Gothix. Wait, you do that? What? That's a thing? What do you think of Tom and Ben's rap song? Trash. But it's funny. It's funny. Trash. Mm. Mm-hmm. I should have said that. Oh well, missed my opportunity. I'll see him at some point again. That's what I like to say. If there's always a missed opportunity, it's like next time. Next time. Yeah, just make sure you say your work. Just don't say I love you. That's weird. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. Mhm. Funny is the point. Actual Jordan Peterson had a React video breaking it down. Oh, that sounds hilarious. It's better than it needs to be. That's I love how he overcomplicates things because his brain is just so it's just working overtime. Yeah, that's funny. Mhm. I would. I think I would. Like I said, I would definitely do it as long as I had some flexibility to do stuff. Like I don't want anyone censoring me. Like, okay, obviously if we're on YouTube, I don't want to say anything to get banned. I'll play nice with the terms of service and stuff, but telling me I'm not allowed to speak about certain topics, I don't think I can do that. Mm, 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 mm. Gothic should rap with Tom. My goodness, me rapping. I know. I mean, you really want to torture yourself, huh? Mm, 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 mm. Mhm. Mhm. You don't need flow these days to be a rapper. That's true. I can just auto tune everything. Man, this was so good. I can eat like 5 more of these. I'm upset. I'm really upset. You ever finish your food and it's so good, you're like, man, that's me right now. Huh? Mm-mm. You have an appointment with your knee specialist today. Nice. Great Danes and knees don't mix. Did you trip over your Great Dane, or did your Great Dane think he was a lap dog? Mm. These are beautiful dogs, though. Anywho, so what else is going on in the world? Hmm? What else is happening? I have a little bit of a headache right now. I don't know if it's because I talk too loud. That's a thing. I talk a little bit too loud. Hi, Volkitten. How are you? Should I place an order for 5 plantains? Yes. What do you mean place an order? Just make them. What you mean? Just put them on the pan. Just put some salt and pepper. Put some garlic powder. Boom. Boom. The dog ran into my knee, dislocating it. Wow. Ouch. That sounds painful. I have not played Poppy. I have not. I've been told I should play Poppy. What's your thoughts happening with I don't even know what that is. What is that? Nijisanja. What is that? I just spelled that wrong. What's happening with them? What'd they do? Is this a game company? I don't know anything about this. Yeah, I'm out of the loop, so I have no comment. I have no comment. Vulcan, I'm doing great. I always hope you are doing well. It's a VTuber company. Yeah, I've never heard of them. Do you like other Tom McDonald music? I do. I listen to a lot of his other stuff. Back in the day, I stopped reacting to it because honestly, I was getting annoyed because people kept expecting me to react to music videos. I'm like, I do not want to always react to music videos, so I stopped doing it. But yeah, I know I like some of his other stuff. I grew up learning to walk by getting knee checked by dogs my whole life. I got pretty good calves out of it. Ugh. Ouch. React videos are cringe. Well, the other part of it too is like if I don't have anything valuable to add to a reaction video, I think it's pointless. Honestly, I cannot stand reaction videos that just don't add any value. Like they're sitting there watching something, they're like, "Wow, wow, wow, oh, wow." That's it. Where's the substance? That's it. I can make noises too. That's it. It's stupid. God thinks you're the reason I am a Tom McDonald. I know Tom McDonald, and now I'm a diehard fan. Oh, I'm so happy I have led you to Tom. Oh man. Mm. But yeah, I mean, he has good music. I just and that can go for any type of reaction video. It's like reaction videos give me easy views, no problem. But if and this is part of the problem with my channel, is that I figured out pretty early on that I'm essentially repeating myself. Like if I do a Tom McDonald reaction video, I'm saying the same exact things. He's talking about this subject matter and this subject matter, and my commentary is still the same. It's this subject matter and this subject matter. So, and that's for any other video. It's like, okay, oops, sorry. It's like, oh, here's a video about something relating to BLM or whatever. I've already commented on this. I mean, what more could I say? So, yeah. Is The Chosen worth watching? I like The Chosen. Just don't use it as a replacement for the Bible, and I think you'll be good. I think it's fine. I think it's very well done. I have not watched the latest season, so I'm a little bit behind actually. God thanks. What do you think about the Super Bowl game and the halftime show with Usher last week? I didn't watch the Super Bowl. I don't really watch sports, maybe with the exception of like hand to hand combat sports, because I don't know. I really enjoy watching people beat the crap out of one another in a very consensual, controlled environment. Not street fights, just sporting fights. I like that. So I didn't watch the Super Bowl. However, I did see some clips of Usher feeling up on Alicia Keys, I believe. Kind of weird. I just It's just kind of weird. Like again, I have new eyes now, new set of eyes being a Christian. I'm just like, oh, oh, why? What's the point? Get a room. But bro, ain't she married? What's going on? Aren't you married? What's I mean, I don't know if he is, but I just assume like that's just weird. How do you not watch the Super Bowl? That's just wrong. It's not my thing, man. Not my thing. Did you ever see Meat Cannon's video about XQC? Is that the one where he was like he was guarding some temple, some golden temple? Is that I've watched a lot of these weird cartoon animation channels. Is that one where he was acting like a weirdo guarding a temple of gold or something like that? Let's see. Yes, that's what it is. If so, then that's hilarious, and I was so uncomfortable watching it, but I liked it. uh, Morgan says, "Hi, Gothix. Off topic. How do I find a guy with my same beliefs in Seattle? Very liberal city. The guys here are beta wokies. I definitely plan on moving out of Seattle. By the way, Seattle is trash." Oh man, it's funny because my husband gave me an idea for a video in regards to dating. Um, how do you find a guy with the same beliefs in Seattle? I've never gone to Seattle. I've heard stories. That's I don't know. I'm gonna have to put a pin in that. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm so blessed to be married. I don't have to deal with all that crap. And you know what the thing is before I met my husband, I had the worst uh selections of men in my life. It's like all of these men are trash. Were they all trash or was it that my taste in men was trash and I just kept selecting the worst people for me? Oh, this is a good question. I have to think about that. I have to put a pin in that. I'm sorry, I don't have an advice for you at this moment. Never go full Seattle. How did you and your hubby meet? We met at a call center. We were both dating someone at the time. Um, and we met as friends. No funky business. But then our own relationships started to crumble. Yeah, and that was pretty much it. Our relationships crumbled. We both were single. Then we were both like, "What you doing over there?" You know? Yeah. Hello, Cranberry. How are you doing, darling? Oh, the Usher allegation. There was allegations. Word has it that Alicia's husband was all fine with it and says the internet was just taking it all out of proportion, as they always do. What husband would be fine with that? Well, now we're on the topic of beta males. What husband would be okay with another man feeling up on his wife? This is why I don't understand the adult film industry and how someone can say, "Yeah, I'm married to a porn star. It's fine. We have a very healthy marriage." Are you high? What planet are you living on? Who never don't understand. Olympus one. Man. Carbonated wine. Says, "Hey, Gothix, if you're looking for another musical to react to regarding Christianity, you should check out a pop opera. Bear, a pop opera. I've never heard of this. It covers topics like homosexuality, teenage pregnancy, suicide. Interesting. When did this come out? 2000? Interesting. I will take a look into this. Never heard of it. Thank you for the suggestion. My taste was definitely trash before my husband. They're all fuck boys. Oh man. Here's a question. On the topic of, excuse my language, fuck boys. What is it about this is for the ladies in here. What is it about that type of man that you think is so appealing to a woman? Like a man that clearly hasn't got his shit together, but he gives off sort of like this bad boy something about him. Like what, you know, he's not good for you, but women still go for that. What is the appeal? This is obviously it's a rhetorical question, really, because I've dated many of these men. But what do you think is the appeal? Yeah, we've talked about this. I used to bring him on stream a lot. Yeah, I would love to. We should do that soon. I'm gonna ask him when he can. Derek says, Gothix, have you seen the clip of the straight woman who was offended by her husband didn't identify as queer because she identifies as non-binary? That hurts my head. That hurts my head. Pain. Mm, women like fixing things. Oh. In before I can fix him. Yeah. I'm the appeal. What am I being accused of, by the way? Hi, Joe. Okay, I wish I knew, but all I can figure, and my husband and I joke about it, is that I had daddy issues in my youth, or the media highlights it. Relatable. Relatable. Perhaps it's the savior complex. Yeah. I can fix him or her. Yeah. I think it's a combination of rebellion and thinking that he'll be different for you. Yeah. I agree with all of these, by the way. All of them. Yeah. I need some chapstick. Chapstick. Where is it? Hello? I agree. I like this. Bob the Builder complex, dude. Can we fix him? Yes, we can. No, you can't. Run away. You're never gonna fix him. He's a lost cause. He's not good for you, boo. Just run away. um, I'm leaving the chat, but I'm glad you answered all my questions. You really made my day today. God bless. Wish me luck here in Seattle. Good luck. May God be with you. May the force be with you. Because from what I heard, you might need a lightsaber if you're living in Seattle. Might need a. I've never seen Star Wars. Ah, man. That was a beautiful face zoom. Thank you. Hi, Serene September. How are you doing? Joe says it's about a sex life. Ever notice these women never pick fat guys and say I can fix him? I mean, I don't know. You know, I've never. Well, hold on a second. No, I don't know the numbers, but I would suspect there are women who go after the fat guys who need fixing as well. I think that's a thing. But I think by and large, maybe you're right. I mean, you might have a point. Um, yeah, there's some chubby chasers out there. Blessed, how are you? I'm good. No complaints here. No complaints. Um, Jordan Peterson has talked about being a naive attraction to the dark tetrad personality traits, confusing confidence with competence and cockiness with strength. That's very accurate. That's very, very accurate. Yeah. And I think, like I said, because someone mentioned daddy issues, I think there is something to be said about if you have daddy issues and your dad wasn't the best dad growing up, I think that gets passed down subconsciously. And you think that it's like you're blind to what good traits a man should have. And then of, past experiences, trauma or what have you. Um, and I think also, yeah, there is an element of I want to fix this person because I think, especially with women, they have this subconscious desire to nurture. And I think maybe that's like a little project. And I've definitely been guilty of that. The types of men that I used to chase, like in retrospect, I'm like, yo, were you like drunk? Like the first, like you must have been drunk, Vanessa. Like, what is wrong with you? But back then it was all logical. It was logical. And I think with pretty much everything, we sort of like subconsciously weigh the pros and the cons. And I think if you are in a situation where you're so hungry for affection, you'll run with that and ignore a lot of the red flags. It's like, this person is giving me attention. I'm in love. No, you're not in love, darling. You're stupid. And so I would justify being with people that were not competent, that were not responsible, because I was getting attention. This is a very good conversation. I think it's important. And I think with how politicized things are and how people are becoming so even more so separated from God, I think it's going to get worse. Cuz in it's crazy cuz here's another layer to it, right? The whole sex work thing. People think, "Oh, it's a woman's right," or men's cuz men do it too. It's like, "Oh, it's their right. Do whatever you want," right? And then we don't consider how that trickles down to how society operates. And if you see that kids really, really young are watching porn and they watch that porn and they think that that is how I'm supposed to interact with someone intimately, is what I see in porn. And then they try to take that into a relationship, it doesn't work. And then you got the other aspect of you're being exposed to sexuality really, really young, and you start being sexually active really, really young. And then you get on birth control, or maybe you engage in more sexual activities and you desensitize yourself. So by the time you actually want to settle down with someone, it's not it's not doing it for you. And now you have trouble committing because now you're chasing a feeling, and feelings are fleeting. And so this is where the whole love is love thing comes in. It's a love is love. What does that mean? It's a feeling. Oh, it's a feeling. Okay, so you're chasing a feeling, and feelings, when they disappear, that means what? Get someone else? So we're all sort of like the consequences of all the things society has said is okay. We're seeing the effects of it now. And it's sad, man. I'm so blessed. Thank you, Lord, for blessing me with this husband, because I honestly, I would not be dating. I really wouldn't. Nope. I don't know where I heard it from, but I heard that that a man that fears God is a good choice to look for dating. Reasons I don't remember. Yeah, I would say so. Um, man, I'm thinking about doing a video on this. Um, I would say absolutely. A man that fears God and a woman that fears God too. I think statistically speaking, men tend to be more conservative than women. Um, Women are usually more liberal. Um, and so okay, you got that conservative aspect, right? And then you have the other layer because conservatism without God is really just honestly, it's kind of pointless. Like it's a good starting point. The red pill might be a good starting point, but if you stop there, it's kind of pointless. Um and that's because you're not holding yourself to a higher standard above uh the world. And what I mean by that is, well, what is conservatism? Conservatism is blank, 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 and blank, right? And that is really just the way conservatives, human beings, have said this is how we should be operating. As conservatives, this is what we should do. So you're not really getting a foundation for life outside of human opinion. But if you fear God, your um your worldview transcends human opinion. So now it's I don't really care what conservatives say or how conservatives think I should be living. I care about how God thinks I should be living. So it says in the Bible, the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. So if you're living your life in accordance to how God wants you to live your life, it's going to be drastically different. One example I can give you is that people who actually fear God, not the ones who say, I'm a Christian and just run around naked in the streets. That's not what I'm saying here. The people who actually fear God and get into relationships, one thing that they don't have to worry about, again, assuming that they actually fear God, they don't have to worry about cheating. There's no worry of that because you're holding yourself to a higher standard above just political ideologies. Political ideologies, they might have some type of moral worldview attached to it, but the moral worldview is really just coming from the opinions of other people. So it's true. So, yeah, this is a really good topic, man. I have to do it. I don't know. I don't know. Are y'all, how many, I'm kind of, you know what? I'm curious. How many people in the chat are single? I'm actually kind of curious. If I were to poll the world, I would be kind of alarmed. I think I would be shocked. I feel like there's a lot of singleness going on. Single, single, single. Ah, hmm. Me, myself, and I. Hmm. Hmm. Everyone. Yeah. I mean, if you really think about it, if you kind of pull back and look at how society is right now, there's really this orchestrated effort to keep people single. You know, because I'm gonna put the tinfoil hat on. Boop. Tinfoil hat is on. I mean, depopulation. How do you depopulate? How do you thin the herd and get rid of people? As you you make committed relationships, specifically the nuclear family, you make that unappealing. And it's getting attacked in at all angles. And I think the political one is a really big one. Um yeah. Man, I feel for you guys. Hmm. Do you mean dating and married or just married? Dating and married? What do you mean? I'm just in general of people who are well, here's a hot take that I don't think is a hot take at all, but society will say it's a hot take. If you're not dating with the intention to get married, it's kind of pointless. Like I don't see the point to it. Like you can say, okay, long term, I want to be with this person, but if the end goal is in marriage, then I don't understand what the point would be, you know? I don't know. Gothix, have you seen the news story that Sean Evans, the Hot Ones guy on YouTube, dated Melissa Stratton, a sex worker, then broke up with her on Valentine's Day, and Adam 22 made a video reaction to. I mean, I've heard of that. It's just a mess. Stuff like that, exactly what I'm talking about. Like, our standards for relationships have also gone so low. It's like, "Oh, yeah, if my girl wants to do porn, that's totally fine. Oh, yeah, we're in an open relationship. Oh, yeah, it's." I saw a video the other day of someone getting proposed to from a inmate in prison. I said, "Wait a minute." Again, I don't deny that people can repent and people, uh, can learn their lesson. I don't deny that, but wait, like, no standard? I don't understand. What does marriage even mean in the world's view? Marriage is a spiritual act. Yeah, but even I mean, I agree with you, but even the term spiritual means something different to a lot of people. Like, for some people, spiritual means taking shrooms. I I believe in God. Okay, tell me about him. Well, have you ever taken shrooms? This was an actual comment that I saw, by the way, on Instagram. I kid you not. I took shrooms. I know God. What? Sir. Oh, man. Clarify also that when fear in reference to fear in God, it's not meaning to be afraid. Correct. It's more of reverence synonymous with respect in relationship setting. God does want relationship. Yes. I think people hear the fear of God and it's like, oh, so you just want me to be emotionally abused and tormented? No, 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 no. It's like you said, it's about respect in a relationship setting. Assuming you have really good, responsible parents, and if you're a child and you mess up, you might have that fear of, oh, I'm going to feel shame because I messed up. I did something I wasn't supposed to. You're going to have that fear from your parents, not because you think your parents are going to kill you, but because it's like, oh, I respect my parents as an authority figure. And it's the same thing uh, with God. Um, they don't literally fear. Uh, Let me see. Do, 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 do. Do, do, do. Chaz says, I've been with a woman since 2005, still not married. The personal commitment is enough for me and better than a government license. So, so I guess it's safe to say that you think marriage is simply a government institution. I don't think the government should be involved in marriage to begin with, personally. I'm open to having my mind changed about that, but I don't see the point because I look at marriage as uh a spiritual thing. Um but yeah, I don't see the point. But if you see it as a government institution, then I guess that's it. I mean, there's nothing else I could really say. Because marriage is devalued in your eyes, but I think if you see it from a spiritual perspective, it's a lot different. Mm, 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 mm. What are your thoughts on singles using dating apps and if it's a good way to find a relationship? I mean, I'm not opposed to people using dating apps. But the thing is, and I've used dating apps in the past, is you run first of all, I mean, and this goes for anything, if you're in person or online, I think in person you have a better chance uh of really reading a person. Online, you can play pretend, and it might be harder kind of get to know someone. Uh, but I think I don't like how dating apps have been so normalized to the extent where I feel like people don't know how to have conversations with someone to get to know them. It's sort of like you're online, you're just scanning. First, it's superficial. You scan their pictures, and then you go down and you say, okay, you're into these things. Well, when there wasn't social media, how would you get to know someone? You would have a conversation with them. What are your values? What do you do for work? Tell me about your life. You get to know someone. And then at the same time, you're also working on how you can communicate with more people. I think a lot of people who use social media, dating apps, I don't think the majority of them are even actually looking for long-term relationships. I think they're just looking for a hookup. I think they'll say otherwise, but I think that's really what it is. Just in my perspective. Uh, but I think, yeah, the bigger thing that I don't like is people aren't learning how to interact in the real world anymore. The state has no business handing out marriage certificates as far as I'm concerned. That's a sacred institution established by God. Having a child out of wedlock will cause a lot of legal inheritance issues, and not just in the USA, but in most countries around the world. I think the government part is so on file for insurances, taxes, and stuff like that. Um, you should go on the podcast, Mostly Peaceful Latinas. That's a funny name. Y'all would make a great conversation. Yeah, you think so? Mentor says over on Rumble, can't forget the boss bitches as well. They will remain single, and cat ladies most definitely. Yeah, boss ladies. I had this thought the other day of how, again, I think, because we were talking earlier about people being about how society is so morally bankrupt, but really it's always been morally bankrupt. We might not have noticed it just because of the fact that everyone around us was doing the same thing. Like, for example, high school, I didn't know I was being indoctrinated. And then when I grew up, I'm criticizing the public education system. I'm like, wow, they're brainwashing kids. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, I was brainwashed, just not to the extent that these kids are being brainwashed. They up the ante, right? So um, I used to have some feminist qualities about myself that I did not realize were feminist qualities. And one of those things was the notion that being a stay-at-home mom wasn't a real job, and that the the highlight, the peak of success for a woman is her climbing the corporate ladder. And I legitimately thought that my life's purpose would come from how many promotions and how much money I can get. But staying at home and raising a child is not a real job. That's what I used to think. But in retrospect, now that I actually consider it, number one, I was definitely just some crazy feminist ideas, but raising a child is the most important job that you could possibly have because you are raising the next generation. You look out in the world and you see all these crazy people doing crazy things. Wow, if only there was someone to raise that person upright so they weren't ended up, like a crazy person. If only there was someone in their life to raise them. Hmm, it is the most important job. And, and the other aspect of it too is a lot of women are just like, I don't want to. I don't want to get married and end up as a housewife and just cook and clean. And I don't want to do, oh, you don't want to take care of the house? You don't want to take care of your kid? You don't want to submit to your husband? Oh, oh. But you'll submit to your boss. Oh, you'll work that overtime, right? You'll do anything the boss says because you want to climb the corporate ladder. So you'll submit to that, right? Mm, mm. It's so backwards, but we don't realize it because it's so ingrained in our culture, and we think it's normal, but it's not normal. I think the most rewarding job you could have, if we're going to call it a job, is taking care of your family. That's a really important job. Instead of paying someone else's mortgage, working for someone else for a job that you can probably get fired from the next day. Crazy. Good point. They're just submitting to something else. Yeah. Bye, Tara. Alrighty, I'm out of here, guys. Great conversations. Wish me luck. Good luck. Good luck to you. The point of getting legally married is to obtain legalities assigned to marriage by the government in the US, among other things like those certain tax insurance, social security, etc. The problem, and I think valid, but I think that's a double-edged sword because now people will get married because that is what marriage is to them. It's a government institution, and I want that tax credit, boo. I want that insurance. And that's all it is to them. It's just like, I want money. Oh man, Bree, I agree with you. The government should stay out of marriage. I met my husband the old-fashioned way, high school. I feel like my husband and I would not be together if we met each other in high school. Oh man. Chess Carey says, "Don't you think it's kind of a non-direct way to tell a woman that being a housewife is shit just to make the birth rate really low due to overpopulation? Don't you think it's kind of a non-direct way to tell a woman that being a housewife is shit?" Yeah, no, it is. It is. I mean, it's really, I mean, and if you research communism, I have a lot of books on communism that talk about this. The Naked Communist, one of the top books I always recommend. It talks about destroying the nuclear family, and it part of that rhetoric is, yeah, to make the idea of finding a husband and raising a family so unappealing. It's really not to any other benefit but the government who wants to keep population low. Why would the government want to keep population low? Well, I think a smaller population is easier to control. And if you have a bunch of people, if the majority of your population are are part of a strong nuclear family who fear God, that is I think the strongest institution that could oppose a tyrannical government. You don't want a bunch of families who fear God. What you want from a tyrannical government perspective is you want a bunch of single people, all dispersed, all bickering with one another, who think that the government is the highest authority. Whatever the government says, that's what you do. But if you have a bunch of families that follow the kingdom of God, they don't like that. So yeah, it's so many things at once, like in culture. I wish I could draw. I mean, I have a whiteboard. If I were to just draw a map, maybe that will be my project. Just draw a map of all the things that is breaking apart the nuclear family. It would be a lot. It would be a lot of things. Hmm. As a housewife, it's the hardest job I have ever had, and I don't want to do anything else. I believe it. People wouldn't believe that my husband and I were enemies in high school once. We ended up together my junior year after homie made it through my entire friend group. What? That is nuts. Um, that was me, strong, independent. Now I'm currently at home in my PJs getting my kids snacks ready. Yo, that's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah. And that's what really, like, breaks my heart about, like, all these kids, like I call them kids, no offense, but if you're, like, 23 years old, you're a kid to me. But that's what breaks my heart about all these young people doing all of these, destructive things in their life and not considering the big picture. Like, the OnlyFans thing is probably the worst, at least from my perspective. That and gang violence, right? If you join a gang, it's like the gang is your life, and, um, and that's assuming you can actually make it past 20. But for, like, the OnlyFans, people, it's like, "Oh, I'll marry and settle down when I'm done, when I make my money." And it's like they don't compute, but that is not what the majority of mature men want. Because, like, I had a friend once on this topic. I had a friend that was telling me she's having trouble dating, and she just wants to be swooned. I want someone to bring me flowers. I want someone to check up on me, and okay, okay, cool. Where are you meeting these men? The club. Meet at the club. Okay. So you're meeting at the club. All right. And there's alcohol involved. Okay. I'm not discrediting that. Maybe that there can be nice gentlemen, mature gentlemen, responsible gentlemen at the club. Okay, fine. But what is the likelihood of that? Like, are you more likely to find a man who wants to settle down and raise a family and at the club, or are you more likely to find someone who's mostly interested in having a one night stand with you? You know? So the same can be said about, like, the whole OnlyFans sex world thing. Is like they're thinking, I'm just gonna make my money, and then later on, you know, again, you can learn from your mistakes, not discrediting that, but the likelihood of you finding someone that is gonna be okay with the fact that anyone can go online and find old videos of you doing crazy things is you're like the pool size is shrinking. And I feel bad because they don't think about it. The love of money is the root of all evil. And their justification for doing what they're doing is money, money, money. Gotta make money. I'm making more money than I would have made if I became a doctor. Money. And then look what happens. Sad, man. Look for a guy or girl that's having their first date at the Waffle House. That way you can also find out if they can scrap. First off, Waffle House, so overrated. I don't get it. I ate there finally. There was no fights. All right. So I was already lied to, but I went there and I'm like, I can make better at home. Nasty. Some teachers got caught having OnlyFans. Yeah, it's sick, man. Oh, it's got to be 3 a.m. Oh yeah, I went there at like 7 a.m. So all the fighters aren't up at that time. Got you. My mistake. What kind of club? The booty shaking on the chandelier type of club. Ah, man. I would say the worst thing young people are doing is removing their genitals. I mean, that's one of the worst things. I give these kids grace in terms of, like, if you're a teenager and you think that you're trapped in the wrong body and you got to remove your genitals, I'll give them a little bit of grace because their brain hasn't fully developed. But when you're in your 20s and you're still engaging in destructive behavior, it's like, okay, you're mature enough to use your brain and think critically about something. I've met a lot of really intelligent 20-year-olds. So I know that it's possible to think logically about stuff. Um and when you're, an actual kid, you're under the guidance of your parents. So I really blame the parents in that from that perspective, but yeah, I would say that's also pretty bad. I think the biggest problem with being a stay-at-home mom is it dependent on the man with no money coming in, because if the man leaves, they're pretty screwed if they don't have their own money. So we were talking about earlier, this is another thing. Actually, I'm just making a poll in my head. Can someone mentioned in the chat that uh if a man fears God, he is gonna end up more likely to be a better husband. We were talking about how, yeah, that is true. If the highest authority in your life is God and not the government or society, your relationships are gonna look drastically different from someone who doesn't believe in God. Um, and I think that's another example of that. Because if obviously if your man isn't working, you can't be a stay-at-home mom. How's that gonna happen, right? But, um, from the perspective of someone who fears God, the man is meant to be the leader. The man is meant to be the head of the household. The woman is meant to submit to the man. Um, and so if the man isn't doing his duties and he doesn't fear God and and he's intentionally not getting a job. Not saying if you get laid off, that happens. People get fired, have to get a new job, I get it. But if your objective isn't to lead the household and you wanna play around in your boxers and just play video games all day, then, I mean, yeah, your house is gonna be very dysfunctional. But if you have that, okay, guy knows his responsibilities, God, husband, wife, y'all got your duties. It's gonna look drastically different from a household where everyone is sort of doing their own thing. Like my household growing up, like my parents are divorced, had a lot of problems. A lot of problems. Um, yeah. So I can understand that. And it's funny because one of the guys that I was dating, he didn't have a job. I came home one day. I'll never forget this. Yo, I worked a long day, came home. We were living together too. Again, this was before I became a Christian. So my dating life was a mess. I came home, dishes everywhere, dirty clothes everywhere, playing video games, reeks of booty cheeks. And I'm like, I lost it. I lost. I am not doing this anymore. Mm-mm. Mm, 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 mm. My first date was at a church? Wow. Is that a good place for a first date? I mean, I don't know. I'm sure people meet each other at church all the time. As far as, like, going to church for a first I mean, I don't know. Sure, why not? I mean, I think that's great. I would lose it too, what a bum. It was a Ugh. Did you say it reeks of booty cheek? It literally smelled like booty cheeks. Unwashed booty cheeks. Y'all are getting married? What's that like? Here I am single and being proud of being a single guy. Marriage is the best. It is the best. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. But you have to understand why you're getting married. And I think when you look at marriage through the government lens versus the spiritual lens, you get completely different outcomes. Not saying that if you go through the government lens, you can't have a successful marriage. But I think by and large, it looks different. You treat it different. Before my husband and I got married, my pastor, we had like a premarital meeting where we talked about marriage and what marriage actually meant. And we went through the Bible and we looked at some passages together. And he said the best advice I can give you guys is when you get married is when you find yourself getting into an argument, do not under any circumstances threaten divorce. And it's sad that he even has to say that. But that's so common. It's like, I want a divorce because you guys got into an argument. It's okay, okay, you got into an argument. Let's figure it out. It shouldn't even escalate. It really shouldn't, because you guys should be able to communicate and reason with each other to come to an agreement. Yeah, I recommend that. Pre-marriage courses, pre-marriage books. I got some I can recommend. Probably like Pooh and Bo. No, really, it did. It was nasty. Mm, 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 mm. Don't shower for a few days and you don't know what booty. Oh man. Ah, gross. People are gross, man. Anywho, what books would you recommend? Let me show you. I might have some over here in my handy dandy bookshelf. This is for aesthetic purposes only. I don't actually read these books. They're just for decoration to make me look smarter than I actually am. I'm just kidding. I read them. Where's the other one? Um, I can't. I'm missing one, unless I let someone borrow it. This is one. This is actually Graham's parents, the director of the Gothix documentary. This is his parents, and it's really good. Fire and Rain, um, and very very good. His dad, Graham's dad, he uses like Jordan Peterson language. All right, I'm gonna just be real. I'm reading this. I'm like, why do I feel smarter reading this book? Highly recommended. Fire and Rain by Evan Bruce Wilson and Leslie Ann Wilson. And the other one, which is an easier, less Jordan Peterson esque lingo, is I have to look up the title of it to make sure it's right. Mm. It's by Gary Chapman, and it's called Things I Wish I'd Known Before We Got Married. That's an easier read. And then this one is like a little bit harder, but I wish I had that book. I don't know where it is, but it's very, very helpful. Um, yeah. I think one of the things, so Gary Chapman in particular, maybe you've heard of like the love languages. Some people don't believe in the love languages, but I think there's some truth to it. And there's a free test that you can take online to see what your love language is. And it's something to consider when you are getting married to someone, because some people don't have the same love language. So some people like gifts, some people like words of affirmation, some people like acts of service, physical touch, right? So if your wife, if her love language is um words of affirmation, but your love language is gifts, you can't use your love language to show love to your wife, like by buying her stuff, because that's not how she sees love, if that makes any sense. So I think it's helpful uh to consider. There's a few things in that book that I really thought were really good. But yeah, check it out. I recommend Dominion by Tom Holland. Great book. I think I've heard of that. I've tried and failed to buy Gothix merch before. How dare you? Yeah, my website is down right now. I gotta put it back up, so I have no merch available at the moment. Yeah, your website says they're hidden. Yeah, I broke it. I break a lot of things. They'll go back eventually. I think that'll be my task today because my husband's gonna do something at the church, so maybe I'll try to fix my site. Um, but yeah, really good books. Highly recommend it. But yeah, guys, I think I'm going to head out. I'm gonna plan a live stream with my husband at some point. I don't know what day because yeah, he works Monday through Friday, so we'll have to see. It might be a later stream, but I think that would be really fun. He hasn't been on the stream in a little bit, so um, yeah, guys. Any other thing you would like to tell me before I leave? If you want to call me stunning and brave, I will allow it. Because I agree, I am very, very, very brave. Just kidding. Thank you guys for hanging out. This was great. Any announcements that I have? Yeah, make sure if you didn't know, I have a documentary about myself that came out, and it is streaming now on lore.tv. If you use code Gothix, you get 10% off your first month and a 7-day free trial. So you can basically watch the movie for free right now if you want to, but use code Gothix. And the documentary is about me getting canceled as a Twitch streamer from all of the angry black Twitch streamers that thought I was problematic. So yeah, go check it out. In honor of Black History Month. You should watch it because honor me. I am black and it is my celebration. It is my time to shine. Oh my goodness. I thought you were female. What do you mean? Hello? Excuse you? What do you mean? I am a woman. Yes, not a woman based on feelings. I'm an actual woman. Yes. In case if anyone needed clarification. You saw the documentary last night. It was great. Yay! I'm so glad you liked it. If you guys did see the documentary, do me a favor, spread the word. We have no money for marketing. So if you could spare a review on IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. Um, you cannot be stunning and brave if you're actually a female. I thought black women were stunning and brave. So you mean I have to be a black trans woman to be stunning and brave? Man, I can't keep up with the rules, but you might have a point. Might have a point, man. I'm upset, bruh. Oh, hold on. And Very Ginger over on Rumble said, my hubby and I did a book and a workbook, Saving Your Marriage Before It Starts. It was recommended by his cousin. Both of us have now been married 20 years. Ooh, that sounds like a good one. I'll look that up. That sounds good. Oh, another one I just thought of because my husband and I also did a workbook. Uh, Bill, what is it called? Hold on. What is it called? I'm looking it up right now. Is this it? Marriage on the Rock by Jimmy Evans. We did the workbook. I think there's an actual book, but there was like videos that you would watch as a group and then you would work through a workbook together. Very helpful. So yeah, check that out. Okay, anyways, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. My name is Gothix or Vanessa. You can call me whatever you like. And I will see you later on this week. Let's shoot for Thursday or maybe tomorrow. We'll see. No promises, but definitely I'm going to do another stream this week and I'm going to try to get another video out this week. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay. I love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. I hope you found these conversations helpful. If you didn't and you hate my guts, too bad. Go pray about it. I love your faces and I will talk to you next time. Goodbye. I don't have an outro, so we're going to go with let's go with this ugly thing right here.